For our next segment of Making a Difference, I have with us a very special guest, Patrick Dempsey. How are you, Patrick?
I'm very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us. Let me give you a proper introduction, though. For those of you who don't know Patrick, he currently stars on the hit ABC series Grey's Anatomy, for which he's won many awards. He has starred in many motion pictures over his accomplished career, most recently Transformers, Dark of the Moon. I'd be here all day if I listed all of his works, but I do want to point out two I really liked. I loved his role as Ronnie Miller in Can't Buy Me Love, and I really enjoyed Enchanted, which I probably saw with my kids about 50 times when they were younger. Many of you don't know that Patrick's also a very accomplished race car driver, but one of Patrick's most impressive accomplishments is his role as a social entrepreneur in the creation of the Patrick Dempsey Center for Hope and Healing. Patrick, please tell our listeners about the center that you created.
Yeah, it's a center that it's in my hometown of Lewiston, Maine, where I grew up and where I was born. Also, it was the hospital where my mother was treated for ovarian cancer. And many years ago, I was a spokesman for the Ambulatory California and Breakaway from Cancer Initiative. And it was the first time I was exposed to, wellness centers and sort of that go-between between a person going to the hospital, and being treated, and then what happens after that. Who's there to take care of them? Who's there to take care of the caregivers? And I got sort of the inspiration to look into my hometown and see if there was anything there that were supporting patients. And that's how sort of the Dempsey Center for Cancer, Hope, and Healing came about. So anybody who's diagnosed with cancer, they come through the door and they're immediately, met with someone who has, usually a cancer survivor themselves are volunteers to make a big difference. And then we sort of cater the treatment for whatever they need, and all the treatments are free. And the way we raise money is we do the Dempsey Challenge, which is an annual bike ride that we do every year. It's going to be September 27th and 28th this year.
Okay.
We've done it 5 years in a row, and it raises money, about $1 million, and all that profit goes right to the center so that everybody gets services that are free. And some of it's counseling, some of it's, Reiki, or just help and guidance on just trying to pay the bills and stuff like that. But if you want to check it out, go to the Dempsey Center for Cancer, Hope, and Healing.org.
Okay, we'll definitely.
Hopefully we can help you.
Absolutely. I'd imagine.
Hopefully you don't need help and you're okay. You don't, this doesn't matter.
Thank God I don't have that in my life. I haven't. But I'd imagine that the standard protocol for cancer treatment really focuses on the physical treatment, get rid of the cancer, and not the emotional turmoil faced by the patient and their loved ones. Talk about what it's like to have someone you love fight through that cancer diagnosis.
Oh, it's really hard. Anybody who's listening, a lot of people have been affected by cancer, or someone in their family has. It's very hard when you get that phone call saying that a loved one has been diagnosed with cancer. The first question is, what do you do? How bad is it? How long do you have? And then trying to get the information, to figure out what the next step is. And information is key and empowerment, and that's it. And then you go for the journey, and the journey can be long and hard, or it can be quick, and you don't know what hit you. So it's different for everyone.
Right.
It's very, very challenging. My mother was fortunate enough that she battled it for very many years, and recently passed away this year. But she had a long, hard fight and a good life, and people that loved her, and she moved a lot of people and inspired a lot of people. So it's I think in the end, with perspective, it was a good thing. Unfortunately, there was a lot of suffering on her towards the end. So
talk about some of the benefits that the patients can get, because a lot of people aren't aware, and obviously what you've done is incredible. I read that you've had over 16,000 service contacts in 2013 alone. That's a
we're getting a lot of people, from all over the state of Maine, all over the world who check in. And we have a great children's program as well. You sometimes forget about, young people and what they're experiencing and how they're trying to deal with it and how they cope. And we put them together with other young people that are going through it. And it's Tutu who does a great job on that.
So the kids,
they have a place to go. The caregivers have a place to go. People who are going through treatments have a place to go. And we cater to that individual, There's lots of different types of treatments that we can do. We're treating the person, not the disease, and
right.
That's the thing we have to remember. And it's all free, which is really important.
That's incredible. So let's talk about that. $5 million you've raised, and I know you're very busy, and you could probably spend your time doing a lot of different things, but you've devoted quite a bit of time to this. How have you been so successful raising so much money?
Well, I do very little myself. I think it's really up to the people who participate are the real people that own this and make this happen. Most people are either, riding and raising money for a loved one, or they've lost someone in their family, or they themselves are battling cancer. And their commitment and their desire to go out and raise money and to participate and to challenge themselves most physically and mentally, I think that's a success, and that's why the center does so well. It's because of the collective group that is involved in the challenge that make it possible. We have great partners who allow us to underwrite the cost of the event, but in the end, it's the participants who make this possible. And it's the community, it's the state, and it's people coming from around the world who make it possible. And I think that's what's really liberating and inspiring about this, and so powerful, because it takes the ego out of the way, and it's really about doing something for the purity of the journey and the effort and the open-heartedness and the givingness of these people. Make it remarkable.
So let's say you want to participate in the Dempsey Challenge. What would that entail, and how would you make that as an effective fundraiser?
Yeah, you can go to the website and check out the DempseyChallenge.org, and you can participate through that. You can do a run. We do a run and a walk, depending what you're into, and we, of course, do the bike ride. The idea behind it is really just get people motivated to be physical. You know, a lot of this stuff is about prevention. And if you keep your body in shape and healthy and active, it helps you on just a psychological level and emotional level every day. And also, if God forbid you're diagnosed, it gives you a little bit more going into fight the battle. And that's what it's about. And it's a fun way to raise money and get people active and what's that individual challenge for that.
So it's a DempseyChallenge.org.
Right.
It's September 27th and 28th coming up. If you want to be in Maine and help out, you could run, you could walk, you could bike, and help raise money for this cause. Talk about the Survivor Walk.
The Survivor Walk's great. It's a celebration of people who have been battling cancer, and you know we've seen the previous year and they're back, and it's nice to see them back and still standing and fighting, and also in memory of people who we've lost over the year. But it's nice to see all the survivors walking together. Young and old. I think you sometimes forget how young this disease affects people. You know, it's a tragedy and how that takes a toll on the family and the mothers and the fathers and the sisters and the brothers and all that. So it's nice to see the young people walking around and celebrating life, and it's a beautiful moment, a very moving moment.
Yeah, I imagine your life's turned upside down. You're spending a whole bunch of time at the hospital. You're stressed. The kids are stressed, and no one's really looking out for the family members and helping them. And this organization really does that, it seems like.
Yeah, I think sometimes the caregivers are, you know, working so hard at being strong for the patient or the person and the loved one that they're caring for, that they need to be able to know that it's okay, you can step back, and there's someone that you can talk to, and support groups that you can talk to. And the young people have a place to go, and there's a great thing that's called Positive Tracks, which gets people involved in charitable efforts and rewarding them, and their fundraising is matched by this organization, and that makes a big difference.
That's
and
great.
It really allows people to go and see the benefits of getting involved in their community or getting involved in a charitable event, and how that can be transformative for young people.
Patrick, did the experience of watching your mother fight through cancer change your philosophy on giving back and helping others, or was this a trait that you always had?
I certainly think it was an awakening, no question about it, and certainly with, you know, a lot of visibility, and, you know, because the show has been so successful, I think in itself fame is really quite unsatisfying.
Right.
It's really not tangible. You can't really measure it.
You don't think it's satisfying being famous?
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, it's not unless you do something with it. I find tremendous satisfaction in the challenge and in the center and working with people and seeing people's commitments and the volunteers who make a big difference. That opens me up tremendously. And gives your life meaning and purpose. And I think that has been a true gift that my mother has given my family and certainly our community. And with that, you get a lot of goodwill and love coming back that perpetuates the whole thing and allows you to keep giving and to be open. So it's been incredibly rewarding and probably the most satisfying thing I do, and the most enjoyable, and also the most moving. Sometimes you lose people. Well, you lose a lot of people, and they're not there, and you have the memories of them, or you're doing the ride and you see a flag and you see a person that you talked to last year, and their loved one is gone, and it makes you value the moment in life and to make the most of it.
Well, it's certainly inspirational. Tell us about, do you get your kids involved? Do you teach them about giving back?
Yeah, no, we were just actually talking about that, my wife and I. my wife has made a necklace commemorating my mother, and we were like, well, what can we do with that? And how can my daughter get involved? So we're going to make up a bunch of those necklaces, and we're going to sell those, and then from the profit of those, we're going to give it to the center, and my daughter is going to be able to, that's how she's participating and learning about the community and giving back, and she has an experience which is really important for her, and she needs to understand where her legacy is in this, and what the center means to her, and why she needs to participate in her relationship with her grandmother and other people that she meets, and young people that she meets who have been diagnosed with cancer. So it gives her a little bit a broader view of the importance of life and giving back and that. And our kids, my boys, will participate in the ride and walk, and they're still young, but it's important for them to absorb that. And we really want to make sure that all family members get a chance to participate. It's very important for everyone to understand the value of it in the sense of community in that way.
Listeners, you should take Patrick's example. I know that most of you, or many of you, know someone who's been touched by cancer, had a family member, and it's good to give, it's good to help, and the more you give, the more things come back to you. If you want your life to have more meaning, a great way to start is to help others. So why not go to the DempseyChallenge.org, donate. If you can be up in Maine and participate in the race, that would be incredible, but help make a difference in people's lives who are suffering from the devastating effects of cancer. So, Patrick, what do you think of that ice bucket challenge? What a great fundraising idea, huh?
It's a brilliant idea, and it's nice to see the kids getting into it. And some people are like, why are the kids doing this?
Right.
It's bad you throw cold water on them. It's actually a great thing. It's getting them to have an awareness outside of themselves in a much larger community. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, when am I going to do it? So I better get it done this week.
Have you been challenged?
I need to get some water poured on me and wake up a bit and practice what I preach a little bit here. But I think it's great. It brings great awareness, gets people motivated. It's a fun thing. And we saw a lot of people. I was racing at VIR in Virginia International Raceway this weekend, and we saw a lot of the drivers and teams getting involved, and it's pretty infectious, and it's nice. It's getting some momentum, and it just goes from one person's idea. It's interesting. You get one idea, and then that thing starts to get some momentum and blossom, and I think anybody can make change. It will take time, but it's just one step followed by another step, and anybody can make things happen, and that's the real beauty of it. And you start to witness that, you believe it more and more, and that's very empowering, I think.
No, it is. And are you working on anything interesting right now professionally?
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff that fortunately I signed a 2-year extension on the contract with Grace, which gives me a development deal to work on some other projects and to develop some ideas. So I'm doing that, which is quite exciting. Continuing racing and certainly with just refining the center and where we want to take it, and also networking. If anybody is listening who is out there throughout the country who has a wellness center that's local, where we're trying to network with all the other centers that are like-minded across the country and around the world, so that we can come together as a group and keep working on refining what it is that we're doing and helping patients have better care.
And share ideas
of
what works.
Yeah, share ideas of what's working for us, what's working for you, and how can we better service our communities and all of that. So please reach out and touch base with us at the Dempsey Center for Cancer Hope and Healing and hopefully we can have a great network across the country and do more events like this and change lives and just make people's lives a little bit more enjoyable as they go through this incredible struggle.
No, it is. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I more appreciate how much you've helped people that have suffered from this disease. So again, any of our listeners, go to DempseyChallenge.org to donate or help make a difference. Patrick, thanks so much for being on the air with us.
No, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk, and you do a great job on your show, and it's great to participate.